Willie D Live.
Now there are people who are banning books, right? They're banning books, and many of the people who ban these books don't even read them. But on the auspice, under the idea that it changes mindset. Now, if 50 out of the 50 books that are banned, not one of them is Hitler's Mein Kampf. And actually, a lot of people who commit mass murders and shoot up schools, they read Mein Kampf and they're inspired by it. But that book is not banned, but Maya Angelou is. So a school shooter reads Mein Kampf, that's not banned. That's not banned, but Maya Angelou. I don't know why a caged bird sing, but I know why he duck. And I think we're trying to homogenize society to the extent that it makes people who are lying to us comfortable.
You know, that's one of Kanye West's favorite books.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet.
You know, Kanye is a big Hitler fan. Him and Candace Owens.
He is. They are. They are.
Why are they so revered?
Because I think that anytime you say things, and I say this out loud, I despise people who despise my people. I despise people who. So you could say how great some. I've never known anybody that wrote a lyric so deep or a beat so cold that it made me forget how much you hate my people.
Man.
I've never seen it. Come on, man. And I think the funny thing about that, and that's music is like that. I mean, the minister of music, was so mesmerizing. He was so talented that he talked angels into attacking God. He talked angels into fighting for heaven. That's how talented he is. That's what talent can do. That's what light can do. So if it can make if talent can make an angel believe that he's God and get other angels to attack, it can make people turn on themselves. It can make people believe things. It can make people say things. He's a very talented man, and I hate when people go, well, his mother died. In the grand design, all of our mothers will die, and that's if it's the best case scenario, that they die before we do, and you'll die before your children do. But what we never do is, and that's a horrible thing, but there are people who haven't been able to take life's losses, and they're under underpasses, and they're in psych wards, and they're outcasts all across. Our empathy and sympathy is not relegated to them because they don't they don't do something to make us feel good. I guarantee you, it's somebody. If a large percentage of the people that are homeless in America have served this country militarily, they've seen some pretty horrible things. You don't make excuses for them. They go to jail. They still homeless. We don't allot them the same amount of empathy as we do somebody who is talented.
Mm-hmm. You know why? That is because sometimes when you're very, very talented, you're right there on the cusp of genius. People become so enamored by your talent that they elevate you above criticism.
Sure.
And they will sacrifice their convictions for entertainment.
Right. They'll sacrifice their convictions for anything.
Anything, right.
You know what's interesting? People could not accept the fact that Bill Cosby had done these things, right? And it wasn't because of him, it's because of Cliff Huxtable. Now, I submit to you, Cliff didn't do it, but Bill damn sure did. So it's to me, you can be so talented. And one of the things for us, that's how good black people need to feel good. I remember when Black Panther was out, and everybody's wearing dashikis, and everybody's going to see it, and everybody's uber proud. It was interesting that that's how bad we needed to feel good, that we took a Marvel character and lionized it. This is about this imaginary kingdom where they were, head of technology and math. That was real. That already happened. You could only accept it in a comic book form, but that already happened. And so I think, although I believe that people are inspired, I think that one of the reasons that so many black women went on to secondary education in colleges and are by far the most educated segment of America is because of Cosby, and they were inspired by entertainment. So I don't knock it, but I think that when R. Kelly was doing what he was doing all these years, and everybody in radio knew it, and the audiences knew it to a greater or lesser degree, but it took seeing it on a documentary before people responded. How is it that our EDS, our moral compass is connected to a remote? Like, it wasn't real until you got to press play and see it over and over again when you knew it already. And that's because people are blinded by talent.
Yeah, we're an optical people too.
Sure.
You know, we have to, and we get caught up in symbolism. And speaking of symbolism, I need to know your thoughts on this. I personally think that Kamala Harris, our vice president, is just a token. I don't believe that she was hired, put in that place to do anything substantial that was going to enrich black people's lives.
Then you have a counter narrative to history, because that's exactly what you select a vice president for. We're talking about the job she's selected to do. She was selected to be a vice president. How many vice presidents have ever gone on to become president? They're understudies. That's the definition.
Well, you got to be involved in the murder of the president in order to be president.
But
if you're vice
the
president.
notion is you're never going. Tom Brady would never pick a quarterback as good as him to be his backup. Never. Never. Nobody. Aaron Rodgers leaves teams because they pick talent. Why they leave? Because they don't want anybody who's as talented as them in their space. It is unfair to believe, either you're politically naive or obtuse, if you believe that a vice president has any power at all. They're figureheads. They go do the shit that the people don't want to do. That is why it's subsequently hard. Mike Pence is a vice president. He can't get no traction right now, can he? Dan Quayle was a vice president. Can't get no traction right now. Bill Clinton's vice president can't get no traction because people. And the only reason that Joe Biden is president is because Trump was so horrible that they went double back. Vice presidents very rarely become president. Very rarely. George Bush's father became president and did one term.
So I talked about voting for Biden, right? I
Sure.
shared with people that I did vote
Sure.
for Biden. And that is because, like millions of other people, I had the mentality of anybody but Trump.
Sure.
Okay. So I know that you voted, I think you voted for Biden also.
Of course.
Right?
And speak to him often.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Well, since you speak to him often, tell that sucker I said. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
But, no, I ain't got nothing to say to him. But anyway, when you vote for Biden, a vote for Biden, some people say, well, you're still voting for the lesser of two evils, and he ain't going to do nothing for us either. Now, my idea of voting for Biden was to shuffle the deck. Just like when you playing cards.
Sure.
And, you playing, what they call it, Peter Pat or something like
Petty
that?
Pat.
Pity
Yeah.
pat. You shuffle the deck.
Right.
You shuffle the deck
Right.
until you get the good cards that you want.
Right.
So my idea was like, let's get him in. Let's make sure Trump don't
Right.
get in. Get him in. Shuffle the deck
Right.
on the next
Right.
election, and then let's try to get somebody in there better.
Who's better?
Until we get it right. When I really take a look at the political landscape, the only person that's really qualified to lead the country is me. Yeah, I'm pretty much the only, because I'm gonna say what it is, man. I'm signing executive orders daily,
Well,
man.
you know what?
I'm signing 100 executive
I love
orders
you, but I
every single
disagree.
day.
I
I'm signing
disagree.
executive
I don't
orders.
think you. Although I think you may be
Hey, I
qualified.
look out for you. I'm your dog.
Of course,
I look out for you.
I don't think you'd be the only one. But I'll say this: I hear these arguments about, oh, he's too old. I defy you. If we're talking about political accuracy, you can't think of a president in the modern era who's been more. Who had more legislative successes with less power. He had a very limited amount of power in a very small majority in the Congress and the Senate, and was able. He did something on guns. He did something on climate. He got an infrastructure bill passed. When I hear people, the economy under Donald Trump, under Joe Biden, is about 8 times what it was under Trump. When people talk about Trump, oh, I made a lot of money on Trump. Yeah, because you sat at home and you got stimulus checks and you didn't have to work, right? And your rent was free. So, of course, but you got that because he was such an inept leader. Let's not forget that people are dead because some dude went and said, sunshine will kill a virus. That we had a leader that said that shit. So when I hear people say
something also about Clorox
and bleach, right? So let's take this infrastructure bill, manufacturing in the United States, manufacturing construction, where is in America. It has gone up exponentially. You don't have to look at me. Look at the financial projections. This CHIPS program where they're building these batteries. Texas is getting a lot of them. Ohio, Pennsylvania, places that even Ohio, Pennsylvania, the Rust Belt, people where they have to build these factories. Who do you think gonna get those jobs? And he did that, and nobody else was able to accomplish something like that. Everybody talked about an infrastructure bill. He did it. Now, if you're talking to me about how old he is, we can't argue that. But I will say this. I don't care how old a president is, because he gets 2 terms. If you that same litmus test needs to be applied to the Supreme Court, who get to die in office while they fucking shit up. So if we're gonna talk about give it to old people, let's give them if there's going to be an age, date certain where people age out, then don't tell me I'm worried about an old president when you're gonna watch Supreme Court judges who are gonna make these decisions that are antiquated and not beholden to anybody for the entirety of their life.
Has Biden ever fallen asleep while he was talking to you?
Well, I tell you what, you fell asleep while you was talking to me too. So that's not. I'll fall asleep. You don't want to talk to me because we'll fall asleep doing this thing.
Yes, he's falling asleep.
Sure.
So you're talking on the phone with him. You said, "Mr.
No,
President."
he's never done. No, no, that was probably me. That's probably me. No, I think when I see the things that are happening, first off, I don't believe that a man who took an oath to the Constitution and violated it in front of our eyes should ever be in that office again. Imagine you get fired from a job, you violently try to take that job back, and then you're the number 1 candidate for that job. Pete Rose can't even get in the Hall of Fame for fucking gambling. You couldn't name me another job you could do what he did. If you did what he did and you were accused of 91 felonies and a rape charge and fraud,
multiple rape charges.
What? You couldn't work at White Castle, damn the White House.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't do what he's doing in any parlance, in any segment of life. You couldn't be a teacher, you couldn't be a police officer, you couldn't be a banker. You could not walk in there with that shit on your resume and keep a job, but you are eligible to be you know that he can't even buy a gun because he has felony charges pending. He can't buy a gun, but he can run for president.
But didn't he just buy a gun? Somebody was saying that he went in to try to buy a gun.
He can't buy a gun.
A Glock.
He said, "Oh, I should get one of these." Nigga, you can't. You a fucking you have 91 felony charges pending. You can't buy a gun.
The dude tried to overthrow the government, bro.
And then we're still having an argument
Police
about
officers were killed in the process.
Right.
Like, he should have been charged with murder.
I think so. And
a RICO. That's a RICO charge.
Well, he got one in Georgia. And the thing that's interesting to me is we all saw it. Don't talk to me about law and order. You watch or dress codes in the Congress. You watch this man try to overthrow the will of the American people over and over again in several situations. And now he's going to take an oath to defend the Constitution he shit all over? Stop. He stole America's secrets. For what? We know he did it. We see him. You know, yeah, Biden's son is a crackhead, but who don't have a crackhead relative they love? Like, literally. Literally. Who doesn't, like, honestly, who doesn't have a crackhead in their family that they love?
You know, you're absolutely right. I know I got a few.
Of course.
I got a few. But I will say it is rather hilarious to know that a sitting president has a crackhead son.
Absolutely.
That is some funny shit to me.
It is the best shit. Here's the thing. I think that it's wrong to elevate people to deity status. He's a man doing a job, right? And obviously, I would like people who are younger or more adept. Like, I love the governor of California. I love the governor of Michigan. But the way the political structure is set, it's very hard for an incumbent, anybody, to lose. Look at all the senators it's hard to beat. You know how hard it is to beat an incumbent president?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely hard.
So even if you, it's so hard to do it that it practically never happens. You got to be either George Bush or Donald Trump to lose. Mm-hmm. You got to be that bad to lose. And so it's interesting to have people have these conversations, and I understand where my convictions lie, and I understand what I believe. And I know I'm a liberal, so of course I'm going to elevate those who I think reflect my ideology. If you are conservative, I expect you to do the same.